told us that he's gonna lose.
Yeah, this matchup's definitely humans favored. The combo is fragile enough that basically any piece of humans disruption package is usually enough to break it up.
Yeah, I think at this point all Josh really has to do is hopefully get a mage and a freebooter, and he's in a good seat.
Yeah,
Or he can just go aggro, I guess, but still.
even something as simple as Thalia is really
Yeah,
good,
that's.
or like turn 3 reflector mage, your mana creature
Yeah.
is backbreaking. Because you got to remember, like, anytime he's making these tempo plays, he's also getting in for a bunch of
Oh,
damage.
yeah. Like, see, sleight of hand for 2 just seems so much worse than normal.
Mm-hmm. You might have to just grape shot Thalia.
Trying to see what else is in his hand. He has a grape shot, he has a steam vents. So he took the gifts. So Josh on turn 3. I play humans, and I always like looking at Josh's build because he plays the more red splash out of the, I believe, in the main, where
What other red cards does he have?
I believe if he's still on the regular red human, the Kessig something from
Oh, Kessig Malcontents.
yes.
Yeah,
Uh,
I figured most people were off that card already, but
you would
maybe
think
not.
they would unless he's just putting the red in there for Mantis Rider, which I don't know if that's good enough to put the Sunbait can in there unless he just doesn't have the waterlog canopy. But I think at this point he has a reflector and he has an image. Okay, so he's gonna draw. Yeah, play a land. I don't know if that was the right call to name with Mage, knowing Storm doesn't play that many bolts. But I think just Josh doesn't know the exact
Yeah,
list.
especially game one. Um, although I don't know, is he more likely to have a grape shot or a bolt in hand? Because the only way he's getting Thalia off the table is with one of those two.
I know he just drew a grape shot. I know he has another one in hand.
I guess it also depends on how familiar Josh is with
Yeah.
current Storm builds. Alright, well, this is lethal on the board now, so he has to find some way to take some number of power off the table with probably Grape Shot this turn.
I don't think he can. I think he can stall for a turn, but even if he grape shot Stalia, yeah.
Yeah, he's not even going to try it. Seems about right. Um, and the thing there is, he didn't even really have that much disruption. He had one piece of disruption in
Yeah.
Thalia, and the rest of it was just fast creatures.
Because that mage was on ball. It really didn't do anything. Like, if he would have named some type of cantrip or something, it really would have just shut him out. So let's look at Josh. Knowing playing humans, I can see him maybe bringing in Plague Engineers just to name goblins.
Yeah, that's probably safe. At worst, it's a 2/2 with Death Touch. The floor on Plague Engineer is always
Yeah.
like fairly high, so it's not too bad to bring in.
It's honestly one of my favorite cards. Like, it's really good. I think it was one of
Um,
the most underrated cards when it first came out.
I kind of feel like if you want a way to deal with goblins, you should just play Deputy of Detention instead because the floor on that's higher. Because it'll also get rid of the mana creatures.
That is true. Yeah, Deputy is gonna be really will be really good here because it can also hit the Arya Flame.
Right. Sin Collector is a pretty obvious one.
Yep.
Probably nothing else. And on Dan's side, uh, he just needs every piece of interaction. So the bolt, abrades, wipe away probably.
Yep.
Um,
Giga Drow, Snow. I don't see him
I don't
bringing
know
in
if
Giga
maybe
Drows.
you want to try to go. Yeah, Giga Draws doesn't really do anything here. I don't know if maybe you want to try to go with Aria Flame here just to diversify your threats so he can't just take you off of all your possible threats with meddling mages and stuff.
I think looking at how Dan has played recently and how he's sideboarded, I really do think that he brings in Arya the Flame a lot lately, watching him play. And I think Arya the Flame actually answers humans really well. Because does Arya the Flame, when you cast, does it have to go at a... What's the exact reading?
I think it only targets a player. It'd be very strong if it could target anything. Yeah, it's player planeswalker.
Okay. So, I think this match, Arya the Flame just doesn't do anything. I guess you do bring it up, like you said, to just have another game plan.
You just need ways to win the game.
Yeah.
I mean, the other thing is, like, humans doesn't hurt themselves at all with their mana base, and you're just giving them 10 free life up to 30, and you have to, like, find all your cantrips and stuff. Like,
yeah.
It's not even that strong of a plan. It's just another way to win the game.
Yeah, I really do think humans is going to be favored no matter what, though. I know Storm can go fast, but it's not Seeding Song fast.
Right.
But I did give Josh a little beef. I was like, your sideboard's not right. And he's like, what do you mean? I go, you have non-foil cards in here. You can't play with that. Knowing that he's trying to foil it out. I know Dan's still trying to get practice for Indy, which is in a month. And he loves this deck, though.
Is Indy... That's in a month.
Yeah.
So
It's September 6th through the 8th, I believe it is.
Is that... Okay, so it's before the next banner restricted.
Yeah. Which I told somebody, I was like, because our team is me, Dan, and Tony. Cecil, I don't remember how, I can't pronounce his last name properly. He's a Phoenix player. He's been playing Jun now. But I told them that we need somebody to play Hogak because the deck is just so good. And just listening to some pros over Twitter talk about it and just talk more about it. And they said, you know what, they always do it. They always want to play a different deck and they always want to complain about how Hogak is so good and everything. You see a bunch of these pros are like, I'm just playing it before it gets banned. He's like, turn 2? Sure, let's do this. I told Dan, like, we just need to get on that same board. Like, all right, it's gonna get banned. Let's just go with it.
Yeah, if I go, I'll definitely be playing it. So.
Oh yeah. All right, so we put one to the bottom, but he kept. Was that a one-lander though?
No, he has two
one.
lands and a Manamorphose to draw
canal.
if he needs to. He did bring in Blood Moon. Blood Moon against this deck is a really mixed bag. For a couple of reasons. Reason 1 is Noble Hierarch, and reason 2 is Aether Vial.
Yep.
So in this case here, he just doesn't care about this Blood Moon unless he has creatures that require 2 colored mana. That's a Restoration Angel in his main deck, I guess. That's definitely a little bit
that's a little spice
there. I haven't seen a lot of that at all.
You got a mountain. Sure.
Yeah, I guess it just cast it anyway, but looks like he has a Meddling Mage in hand that's now stuck, so it helps him there at least. Really hoping to draw a land here.
Yeah.
Doesn't find
Well,
it.
there's the 2.
But those probably both stay on top. Or get rid of 1, I guess. This deck can operate off 3 lands fine. And yet he bought himself a little time. Yeah, there's another Meddling Mage. And he has a Freebooter stuck in hand that Hierarch doesn't cast.
Take 2.
Do you still name a creature type when you play these lands? Probably not, right? I have no idea how that interacts.
I don't know how that interaction works, actually. I think it would make sense you would still have to name it. It's just it's a named... Because it's entering the battlefield, you have to name a creature, and then I think that's what I thought when Blood Moon takes effect.
Well, the thing is, like, uh, if you have a shock land, uh, you can choose to pay 2 life
Mm-hmm.
when it enters if Blood Moon's in play. Uh,
You
but
can.
it would enter untapped anyway.
Yeah.
But you can still choose to pay 2 life for no reason if you want to. Enters as a mountain, so it won't have a creature type associated with it. I'm not really sure that's the
Yeah,
case.
I
I mean, I
think
don't really know.
I can look it up on one of the judge forums, but it doesn't.
Because I know you can choose to shock yourself with Shock Lens if Blood Moon is in play, even though it would enter untapped anyway. And that has the exact same rules text as Cavern, where it says, as it enters the battlefield, do this. So I assume that it's the same, but I don't know. Can't pay life with a rules change. I've definitely seen people do it on MTGO. Although I don't know if MTGO is the best judge of rules. Um, um,
So here's one of the judges that answered it fine. So he goes. So if I understand it well, there is a difference between when X enters the battlefield versus as X
how old
enters.
is this post?
This is just fairly from 2015.
That's too old.
So it's
because
still too old, right?
The ruling was changed.
So here's one from 2018. I can look.
If a non-basic land has an ability that causes it to enter the battlefield tapped, it will lose that ability before it applies. The same is also true of any other abilities that modify how a land enters the battlefield or apply as a land enters the
Yeah.
battlefield, such as the first ability of Cavern of Souls.
So they can't name it, and it says even here you can no longer pay.
Okay.
So it said basically the question is, if Moon is in play and I put a Stomping Ground into the battlefield, do I still have to pay 2 life for the Stomping Ground? And it says you can't even choose to pay 2 life here. Stomping Ground afflicts abilities indicate a replacement effect.
Okay.
I knew it was a ruling. It was weird though.
You used to be able to do that. Yeah, and anytime I saw someone paying life must have been before the change.
So
that was a fairly uneventful game. After Blood Moon hit, he didn't find any other ways to cast his spells, and Dan just went off.
yeah, so maybe I think that game could have just even gone quicker, especially because obviously I didn't know the ruling. I don't know if Josh does either. So knowing that those don't come into play naming anything, it's pretty pointless at that point because all you're gonna tap them for is if you get rid of that Blood Moon.
Yeah, I know it's the same as not having to pay 2 life for shock. I just had it confused.
Yeah.
Because before you used to be able to shock yourself.
You know how Magic's been around for a while. They like to change up rules a lot. That's really what it is. Sometimes it's better to discuss the question out loud sometimes and then just hold back. So that's why we discussed it and we went through and we looked at Gather and we found it. So
I think that was a very above average game for Blood Moon.
yeah.
That usually doesn't happen against humans. He hasn't seen any vials across 2 games, so.
At this point, I still think Josh played it right though, because I don't think you want to Mulligan hard till you find.
No, that hand was fine.
I don't think he thought Blood Moon was gonna come down on turn 2.
No.
What is in his chant? He has a noble. He has a mage.
It seems like another reasonable hand. Same thing with Dan.
Yep.
He puts back the duplicate Baral. And he has a removal spell and a braid.
Yep.
Yeah, he plays the Hierarch out instead of the Meddling Mage in fear of a Blood Moon next turn.
Yeah. Plus, I like that move too because I like actually hitting for a 3. Turn 2, hitting with a 3/3 champion basically because of the Exalted trigger. It's really good.
Blood Moon maybe shouldn't exist for you guys to have this discussion anyway.
Blood Moon is perfectly fine in the format. You know what?
I don't think Blood Moon is a well-designed Magic card, but I also don't think that it's a problem and should be banned.
It kind of is sad that Frump is not in this chat because did you see Frump that he put on in our Facebook group chat in the messaging board that he said Tron should get banned?
Yeah, I did see that.
And it felt good to actually see certain people's modern views and everything. But he feels, because he's a blue-white controller player, that he feels like Tron should be banned because Karn on 3 is broken. But it's really not. All right, so Meddling Mage, what are you going to name?
These days, it's not as crazy as it used to be.
And that's why I tried to show him the article. There was an article from one of the Magic Pro. It was a tweet. He basically said, as much as everybody wants to keep saying ban this, ban this, ban this, he said you banned a certain card and then you let the format just shape up.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not saying Tron isn't balanced. We're actually saying that instead of
Tron's
us
fine.
constantly
Tron
banning
has
things,
very clear strengths and weaknesses.
it's like if you really want to ban something from Tron, you don't just ban a certain card like that. You would ban Stirrings, or you would hit maybe Lattice because Lattice isn't fun. But people have shown that you can get around Lattice.
It's like,
A Brawl.
I don't know. I found Bridge from Below to be a fun card to play with, but I know some people disagree. I mean, it was not broken until they let Alter get into the format.
So you know more about Hogak than I did because I didn't really play the deck as often. What was the artifact? The Altar?
Mm-hmm.
Was that mainly was that put together as like the mill package? Was that more of the package for the mirror match? Because that wasn't 100% the win con.
No, it was.
Okay, it was, okay.
Turn 3, if you had 2 creatures and a castable Hogak in your yard, you basically always won if you had Alter.
Okay.
Because you could go, not technically infinite, but you could mill them for like 80-something cards, so it's like good enough. So you can loop Hogak instantly after milling your entire deck.
Okay. Well, because somebody last week was saying, like, or 2 weeks ago, that mainly they feel like Alter was in there due to the mill and everything.
No. Because when people were developing the deck, you're obviously not planning for the mirror when the deck doesn't exist yet. So, no. People just started playing, like, 2. And then they were like, wait, we just, like, win on turn 3 every time if we play this card, so we'll just play 4. And then everyone started playing the deck, and it happened to be a good card in the mirror. It's the same way at the Mythic Championship. A lot of people decided to play the Hedron Crab version, specifically because it's stronger in the mirror because you can mill your opponent. I don't think that deck is the better version of the deck, just in general, but in the mirror, it's definitely the better version.
Because the Hedron Crab one didn't even play Wayfinder, right?
Some of them did. Some of them tried to stretch their mana base to 4 colors, but most of them were not trying to do that.
So Dan has a lot of goblins. Another Melee Mage. I don't know what you name at this point. I guess I would name Past in Flames maybe.
I'm trying to figure out how many of those he attacked with last turn.
Sure, name Grape
I
Shot.
think he attacked with 7 and lost 2, so Josh would have taken 5 damage. Alright. He makes some more goblins this turn, too.
Was that a repeal?
I think so.
I do want to thank you guys. Chat, you guys are coming out today and actually talking, which is really good.
He's got to decide whether he wants to empty here or just wait and repeal something.
I feel like you just want to repeal something, but what?
Doesn't really have any targets that he cares about right now. Yep, he's just going to pass, I guess. What is he doing? Oh, he's just leaving 2 of them back.
How do you feel about position Storm is in with the current meta?
I think Storm, how many rounds tonight? Should be 5.
Yeah, it should be 5 tonight. In the current meta, Storm,
I'm not like too happy with it.
Yeah.
I think the only thing you have going for you right now is you have a pretty reasonable Hogak matchup.
Yeah. The number one thing, like, I talk to Dan a lot. Me and Dan talk about standard. We talk about, because I'm on his team, we talk about random matchups. And 2 weeks ago, I came and I play tested humans. And he saw me get frustrated. And he's like, "What's going on?" And I have a loss to Hogak, and I expect that because I'm trying to rebuild the sideboard for Hogak. I had a loss to some random modern build, and then I beat Aetherwork Marvel, and he's like, "What's wrong?" I go, "I'm 1-2. The one loss was actually against a meta deck, and the other one like is a deck I've never seen. I won't ever see really at a big tournament."
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm trying to test, and like I get these random decks. So, and he's like, "Well, that's the cool thing about Storm, because even when you go to bigger events, he's like, nobody really expects it." He goes, "The percentage of people that are play Storm right now," he said, "you can probably in a big tournament, let's say the MC. I don't even think there was that many players even playing Storm at all."
No. And the thing about Storm, too, is it can just ignore people playing off meta decks
Yeah.
and just do its thing anyway.
So we were discussing it, and that's one thing that he does like about Storm himself, is he even said that Storm is one of those decks where I'm gonna sit back and do my own thing. I don't have to worry about what my opponent really does unless I have to interact with him. But the issue with Storm right now, I feel like in this meta right now is so fast and there's so much creature removal. Like, Jund is bigger again.
Yeah, Jund being bigger right now is really bad for Storm. Humans being popular is really bad for Storm.
And that's what's scaring me away from humans, because we basically have... I'm in between 3 decks right now. I'm in between Eldrazi Tron, humans, and I'm in between Blue-Red Phoenix. I feel like I'm just playing Phoenix just because with Jund, humans is going to die.
Do you think there'll be another ban in the Hogak deck?
Maybe
I don't know.
Hogak?
If they want to completely kill the deck, they will ban Hogak. If they don't, they will ban Stitcher Supplier. I'm not saying that a ban is 100% going to happen, but those are their 2 options.
Now, with that question being asked, we know Wizards doesn't like to just up and ban a card just to ruin a deck, so...
I don't think it needs banned.
It does need banned. In order for Hogak to get banned, him itself has to just destroy the deck. But the reason that Hogak is so good is there's other cards in that deck that make it work so much better. When Andrew said Stitcher Supplier, that card's just broken. Because it's feeding Hogak. So
I don't think it's... at its current state, I don't think it's much more broken than some of the other fast aggro decks in the format.
I say it every week. I give Anthony props for playing the deck he plays. It is such a meta beater deck right now.
Yeah.
It's so good. But like it says what I was saying. Like, the format is so fast right now with heavy removal that humans is technically not set for this meta. If you really look at the meta, it feels like it's Hogak, Jund, Blue-Red Phoenix, and maybe a Blue-White build.
Also some Tron.
Tron, yeah, that's right. Tron, I forgot. Tron does get so much better with the mulligan, but
Hmm.
what people don't know is Tron actually. There's all modern decks takes thought. You really have to know what you're doing. You can't just pick up the deck and be like, I'm gonna play this 'cause I'm good. So Dan, Grape Shot, empty the Warrens. He needs a Past in Flames, basically.
Yep.
No blue in that graveyard. It's kind of weird.
Modern continues to be rock, paper, scissors. I remember when Death Shadow dominated the meta and everyone called for
Hmm.
a Street Wraith or looting ban. Everything comes full circle. Yeah.
People are automatically gonna call for bans. That's how, as they say, Magic Twitter. That's all it is on Magic Twitter. But people don't realize is Wizards is properly doing it the right way. I give as much as sometimes I hate what Wizards does with what do they do. We were talking about it like 2 weeks ago. They destroyed F&M promos again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's something that they do, but they see us talking about it and they see it going. They have to, as a company, you have to think about it as a corporate company going through America, a Fortune 500 company. They have to change something up to compete with what's going on in the average day. So modern is actually technically it's like the baby of the everything. They love standard, but they want to help produce modern because they know modern's big. But when people complain about a certain deck, it's because they don't like playing that deck, or because people have pet favorite decks and they want to keep playing those decks. Modern is perfectly fine.
Yeah. And it is more or less rock, paper, scissors. I think for a minute there, when Bridge from Below was legal, it definitely felt like at times I was playing rock, paper, scissors,
Yep.
but rock just actually beat all the other all the other things, and rock was Hogak. I think the ban made that not the case anymore.
Well, I love when people were asking for looting to get banned. I go, why? Looting is good, but let's look at a dredge deck. They don't have looting on turn one. They're somewhat a little bit slower.
Yeah.
That's why they had to find certain other cards to help them go off. It's like if they don't get those crazy hands, it's not that good of a deck.
Rock, paper, scissors, Karn. Yeah, I don't know. A lot of times I find myself thinking against Tron, oh, their payoff is just Karn. Or in a lot of situations, I'd be more scared of Worm Coil or Ugin.
I think Tron just gets so much better because of Karn, the Great Creator.
Yeah.
And I think if you say Karn, I think it should say Karns now, just because that Karn offers so much better versatile for that deck. But instead of everybody putting up their pitchforks and lighting torches and saying that everything needs to get banned, this and that, let's go back to when it wasn't modern and was extended, and let's just fix the problem ourselves, figure it out. And pretty much people did. Well, how many copies of Leyline of the Void was there at the Mythic Championship? 800 and something. They're helping. They're building it. We just have to do it ourselves.
Yeah, but a lot of people take that as evidence that the format has a problem, and I don't know. I think as long as I think the thing is everyone always goes on and on about why is everyone playing busted graveyard strategies? Why do they keep printing busted graveyard strategies? I think what it comes down to is fundamentally players enjoy interacting with their graveyard, and Wizards will continue to print cards
Excuse me. Yeah.
that interact with the graveyard because they're fun to play with. I think suggesting that the fact that people are playing graveyard hate now, like a lot of it, is some sort of indication that the format is in a bad place is just wrong. He's named Sleight of Hand and Serum Visions now.
Which I think is actually smart, because looking at Dan's graveyard when he was playing it, he had no blue in that graveyard. I think there was only the repeal before the Echoing Truth. So at this point, he knows in order for him to help going off, he needs those, which...
Yeah, there it is. Unfortunately, the Sleight of Hand is on the Phantasmal image, which means one Grape Shot target will kill it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Does he want to just, like, burn Grape Shot just so he can cantrip? Because he can't get any Storm to build up to it. It actually would just be for one.
Yeah. Which is fine. 'Cause
But, like, Josh is at 9. Grape shotting for 1 removes a blocker. I don't know. I guess he can do that, too. Yeah, that doesn't seem bad, actually. Because now you can grape shot for 2. Oh, that doesn't actually do anything. Right? So he takes 1 damage. And then he's targeting that.
Well, he can target the image with 1, and then the other one
I'm
can
assuming
just...
the other one's going to Josh.
Yeah, it's probably just going face at that point. What does Josh have? So I know he has a vial, which is just way too late.
Mm-hmm.
A noble, which is fine, I guess.
He needs to find Deputy of Detention if it's in his deck.
Teague doesn't really do anything, so...
Yeah, not anymore. I guess that's also why he got the empty out of his hand, because the Teague was bounced. I don't know. This is hard because if you're Josh, you have to start trying to push through these at some point. I don't think you can just sit here hoping to draw a Deputy.
Yeah, I think he's just trying to make sure that... His issue is he doesn't want everything to just die from these little 1/1s.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, so sleight of hand. That's
Some
good.
Flames and gifts ungiven. He kind of wants both of these
He does.
because he has no gifts in the yard.
But what he could do is he could grab the gifts and just basically put the other pass in flames.
Just to set up for the next turn.
Yep.
That's probably fine.
Because Josh isn't really threatening him right now anyway, so...
Yep. Now he doesn't have enough mana, though. Right?
Who? Dan?
Yeah, he doesn't have enough mana to gifts on his end step now.
No. But that's why he put out the other...
Oh, he just... that's kind of awkward. Yeah, now he has to wait another turn. I mean, that's fine. Josh isn't really doing anything, so he can wait. But this is going to be gifts on your end step, untap and win the game if Josh doesn't do anything.
And I think Dan's not worried because Josh had the board a little bit more cluttered than that as it was, and he wasn't threatening.
Can't cast those with Teak in play. Oh, you're right. Yeah. That makes this even more awkward.
Yep. It's just awkward, though, because Josh isn't proceeding, though, any further. Sure. Champion. Yep.
Yep. Block with Brawl since I drew a duplicate. Yep. Pieces is nice.
Mm-hmm. How would you like that card in Storm? Sure. Another Brawl.
Hopefully that'll draw him towards some way to get Gaddock Teague off the table. Noxious Revival is a copy of a Braid, so that's good enough. He's going to respond to Sleight of Hand.
Ooh, that's rough. Josh has another Teague.
Yeah, but oh wait, yeah, he's gonna depends. If Josh leaves his vial on 2 for Teague, he's fine because he can just vial in the second one when the other one dies before anything can happen.
Yeah, Angel.
What is he blinking?
Maybe Mage?
No, he wants to change his name on the Meddling Mage. Noxious Revival, sure.
Yeah.
I'm kind of surprised he let that happen.
Yeah, especially knowing.
Because, like, he could have Noxious Revivaled in response and then drawn the card.
Well, you know what he didn't? Is no matter whatever he got back, he was just going to rename. Because in order for it to blink in response, the revival, so basically he knows what he's going to put in his hand no matter what. So no matter what, he just let him get locked up anyways.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, so I think at this point, Josh just needs to, yeah.
Yep. At this point, the Angel's just going to push through all the damage for the rest of the game.
Mm-hmm. I guess.
I think he's out of removal spells. He probably has like a wipe away still left. That's it though.
Yeah. That Teague just hurt him. Yep, there it is.
Yep. That's 6 damage. Can't block any of it. Might as well swing with that too.